Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so sitting here listening to the Kaminsky brothers, and of course, I always listen to their podcast. I try to listen to everybody that I can who talks about the Lakers these days to give me as much to talk about as I can. Um, and some of the things they were talking about kind of just got my brain going. Uh, One of the things I was thinking about in regards to the Los Angeles Lakers is, we're trying to figure out how best to move forward. And as I look at Clutch and our partnership with their organization, I think one of the reasons why they may be willing to bring certain talent to them is because they are certain that they can move that talent when they think they'll be able, when they'll need to. If it's our guys, we got our guy over here, we got our guy over there in that place. So what we can do is when it makes sense for the organization we're attached to, we can just swap them for each other or swap them for another one of our guys. As long as they're our guys, we can control that. I think that's how the thought goes. Trying to bring, because what I'm trying to figure out is why would someone in our position, in this environment, logically think that it makes sense to bring a contract that's overbearing to our situation after going through what we just went through. And nothing comes of it but incompetence, yo. Nothing. Until I start digging into what the advantages of being with Clutch should or could, or what they're selling, could be selling the Lakers be. Which would be, even if we give you some arbitrage of a contract, don't worry about it, because when you're ready to move it, we should be able to. It's our guy. We can move him. Don't worry about his contract being $35 million in 5 years, because at any given moment when we need to move him, we can move him. But here's the problem. We can't move Westbrook. Wasn't that the guarantee in regards to grabbing this arbitrage of a monster contract? Wasn't there some types of guarantees that this wouldn't go wrong, or that we could undo it even though it didn't look like on paper we could? Because I would hope that Jeannie wouldn't sign off on something that didn't at least have some out to it. But then again, I don't know what I'm looking at because nobody's really even speaking, so I don't know. Like, who knows? That's the sad part about it, because people are so hush-hush. You don't know who to hold accountable, and you don't know what actually went on. And I'm telling you, man, they are counting on people like myself just saying, I don't care. I love the team. No matter how this looks, no matter what they don't say, or no matter what's going on, I'm just going to continue to watch, continue to root. And if we lose, say all shucks and then ask for another superstar. And what I'm telling you is that is nowhere near the common conversation around Laker Nation right now. Nowhere near it. We are looking at the front office and we're saying you're incompetent. You've been selling us bullcrap for years. We told you it was not going to work when you brought us Russell Westbrook. A lot of us did. I didn't. I wish I did. But a lot of people told you Russell Westbrook wasn't going to work. He did it anyway, and it tanked us to the bottom of the ocean. It went a lot worse than it was even expected to go. And y'all solution is to not fire people who made that mistake like any other competent organization, but try to figure out how you can swap his contract with a longer one. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and you start wondering why someone would want to do that, and you come up with bullcrap, like literal bullcrap. And this is just one of those variables that this team of Clutch, particularly their entire organization, just probably has guaranteed Jeannie that they can move these contracts. If I bring you Bradley Beal and it doesn't work out, we could probably just find a way to swap him out, maybe send him to Sacramento or something. And what I'm saying is, do I trust that? If that's the guarantee that they're providing Jeannie, if that's the guarantee they're providing the Lakers, that they can get us Zach LaVine, and if it, for some reason if we're tanked to the bottom of the ground, they can get him out of here for a good return, or get him out of here for something that better fits what it is we'll want, because those other pieces would also be attached to Clutch. Is that something that I actually think is going to get executed the right way later on? I don't know. If that's what I'm to assume as I speculate, I don't know. Looking at what I've seen, I don't feel too good, though. But I also understand what it is they delivered, which was Anthony Davis and LeBron James, which is two pieces that can't be built properly around. That's the reality of it. When you remove them two pieces, and then you start picking from other stuff that Clutch has, you could probably put together a hell of a team, because I know they got some elite stars. But as long as you're building around these two forwards that are and that's the thing, man. I've said this before, but it's like Bron and AD are not the easiest players to build around together because of how difficult it is to have their contracts be as expensive as it is, and then have them and their strengths and weaknesses be as they are, trying to find other pieces that complement them within your budget. It's not the easiest thing in the world. It looks easier on paper than it is until you start realizing certain things that they'll need to help them be more comfortable on the floor. What they're not is bigs, but they kind of want to play big. You know, Bron needs to play the 4. AD probably needs to play the 4 too. So how the hell do you work that out? You know what I'm saying? And now you got AD forced to play the 5 so Bron can play the 4. Or you're asking Bron to play the 1, as to which the pace is too slow, as we've come to discover. You know, it's a lot of different things that kind of go into making them work. So it's like we haven't found the right combinations of players to make them work. And instead of bringing stuff that made any sense, we just slapped Russell Westbrook on top of it, assuming that he could help us sustain some type of dominance if in the event AD and Bron were out. And the reality is he doesn't dominate in that way. He needs complementary players to get the ball too in order to get the most out of himself. Otherwise, it's just inefficiency and bad defense for the most part, although his defense has been pretty good, including on Christmas Day in the first half of that game. One of the only bright spots of that entire game. But I'll tell you this. That was a bad decision overall. That was a bad decision, obviously. I think we can clearly see that bringing Russell Westbrook's contract to us instead of keeping what we had, and every other time we foregoed what we were supposed to do and gave up what we had, has ultimately left us in the position we're in right now, to where we can't put any better on the floor, and we have a matchup tonight where we know for a fact we can't match it properly. You know what I mean? It's like the Los Angeles Lakers left LeBron James in this position. He left himself in this position. And they're all to blame because they left us in this position. You know what I mean? As fans sitting here guessing, having to decipher, and then further just suffer. It's a lot of furs. None of it's good. And so I prefer the Lakers blow this thing up and move us into a position from which competence can be seen here once again. And as the Kaminsky brothers said, you know, and I paraphrase, but stop trying to sell us a superstar dream that isn't sustainable. You know, the dream isn't sustainable when you tell us that you're going to bring us the best talent every year and be competing for a championship every year. Because what you don't respect when you take that literally is the fact that that is something that needs to be revamped. If you like, your canvas needs to be rebuilt ever so often. And if you don't know when to pull the trigger on that rebuilding process, or if you're hesitant to pull the trigger on that rebuilding process and accept the fate of being bad for a little bit, there is no way to build something as sustainable as what it is that you're saying you want to have. And what your father built, and if I'm speaking to Jeannie, is something that was sustainable for a long time in a different ecosystem that needs to be, gotta evolve. You can't think that you're going to be able to build the same way he did. It's a different time. It's a different situation. And so if you want to dominate this era, you got to do things entirely differently. And just speaking into existence that you're going to dominate this era without having the capital to back it up leaves you at a disadvantage against people who can back it up. Like Golden State Warriors and Phoenix and the Clippers, they're not saying that they're going to go out and win a championship, but they're pouring their money and letting that speak for it. And if they're doing it correctly, it's going to work out. Or even teams like Orlando, who have put these young players in place, have taken the time to be bad for 6 and 7 years and accumulated properly. You know what I mean? And so now they can get up here and say what it is that we want to say. That we're going to be good for the next 4 years, and we can guarantee we're going to put you in a position and all this other stuff that they're actually not saying. But the Orlando Magic want to come out and say those things. They have the talent on the floor to do it. So if Jeannie would have built that way, she'd have that. And then she can get up here proud and say the Lakers are an excellent franchise and we did it. But it's like you don't want to do the things to be able to put yourself in a position to say that. You'd rather lie about things or whatever it is, cover up bull crap, scoop bull crap on top of it, and do everything but what needs to be done properly. So I'm like, look, if we're going to continue to act like children or act like everybody, as if we can't read the room and see that everybody's not buying the bull crap, Look around. Laker Nation can very well see that this isn't a championship level team. Not only do we see that, but we're starting to realize that other teams got it right when they decided to rebuild. That thing that you decided you didn't want to do. You see what I'm saying? You're seeing how quickly it's working too. Look at a team like the Rockets. It didn't really take that long. They had James Harden, what was it, 2 years ago? 3 years ago? Where are they now? They're in a position to compete with a bunch of kids that are going to be on their team for a long time. And so it's like, look, while we're sitting here talking about what we don't want to do, the time is passing to which it could have been done already. If we would have blew this thing up 2 years ago, we'd be halfway to where we want to be. 2 drafts in. Like, for all I know, we would have had Paolo Banchero ourselves. Last 2 top draft picks. We could have been in those positions if we would have blew up in 2021 like we should have. And that's one of the things where you look at it and you say this. The Lakers didn't bring back that 2020 championship team because that team was too old. Okay? Let's just be honest. Everybody on that team was past their prime. Even then, that year, I didn't think we were good enough to win a championship because the supporting cast was too old. But we managed. We got it done. If we would have brought that team back, I don't think we would have been as good. However, but on top of that, we had opportunities to get Schroeder and Harrell at very, very short discounts. So that was helpful. You get players that are twice their price for the discount, you know what I mean? Guy to come off of a 6 man of the year, you know what I mean? And Montrezl Harrell, and then of course Schroeder had come off 6 man of the year before that. Most people forgot that, but he's had that honor before. So as you look at these pieces, you're like, all right. The problem was, did they really fit with AD and Bron? No. If we were really thinking properly, what we should have did is parlayed them somewhere else for their value at hand-picked pieces that we actually wanted, rather than just bringing in an undersized big with a lot of energy and an undersized one who doesn't play any defense, because they were really good values. You got to trade them for what it is that actually fit around what it is you needed, or trade them for a pick or something so you would have more of a future than what you have. Now, with that time, we weren't lacking a future because we still had Kuzma, still had KCP, still had other stuff as well. Stuff that we were going to give away for Russell Westbrook. Now, the Russell Westbrook decision is a terrible decision no matter what. But it's an even worse decision because of the other stuff done around it. You know what I mean? It's like you're not in a position to even make that work for yourselves. And it shouldn't work even if you did have that stuff to make it work. You feel me? It's just like, okay, let's do something stupid to be stupid on top of the fact that we don't have enough to make it make sense even if it weren't stupid. So that's what it was with the Russell Westbrook thing, man. They didn't have no picks. And you're going after a big contract and giving away young pieces like Kyle Kuzma. That's just sabotage. And that's what brought me to the space where I started wondering if people were trying to, you know what I mean, more or less run this thing into the ground from the inside out. Because I'm like, that's exactly what they did. Like the Russell Westbrook trade wasn't even conventional. Like the pieces didn't even fit. On top of that, as I said, they had other problems. So it's like, no, you're just going all in as if you actually have more to give when that's all you had. And now when it blows up in your face like it's going to, you're not ready to accept your fate, or you're not ready to do anything really. It seems like you're just sitting there just hoping that something will come about that's not coming on the horizon based on the trade market. That's what it looks like. It's like Rob is sitting there every day saying, just give me a few more days. Give me a few more days, I can get something done. It's like, nah, bro, you ain't got no more days. We just got blown out on Christmas Day. You know what I mean? We got a game with Orlando tonight that looks terrible. You ain't got no more days. We're past that point where we're talking about making trades. What needs to be taking place is people need to start making statements. You know what I mean? And then they need to start trading people that are ultimately going to start the rebuilding process. That's the type of trades. Not the trades that are going to save the season. the trades that are going to save your future. And so if anything less than that at this point, if the Lakers aren't trying to tear it down or make a statement in regards to why they haven't begun making trades to improve the team, then I'm just going to assume they're going to continue to lose. And I'm going to assume we have a lot more to complain about. And we will. Well, we will definitely speak on everything that we're feeling about this team, and as much as we feel the need, providing content all day long if we have to, because that's how serious we are about the Lakers. And at the end of the day, that's how serious we are about players having great opportunities. It ain't just about pride of the team. It's about athletes and them having good environments from which to play, not having teams that they have to hang their heads down. You know what I'm saying? Because the team sucks and they feel like it's on them to play better because the team ain't constructed right. Oh, no. Or even worse, the fans are holding players accountable for not hanging their heads, because we want them to feel as bad as we do. And the team isn't constructed properly to begin with. So it's like, there's a lot of that going on too. Even myself, looking at AD and Bron at the end of that game, I just wanted a different energy, and I understand that it's futile. If you're in their seat, it's like, nah, bro, no. You can waste your energy being angry if you want, but we wealthy. We're doing what we love to do, and if they want to rig the entire system to be trash, it's the only way we're gonna do it. It's the only way it is. You know what I mean? If you can rewind the hands of time, give us all a DeLorean, we'd love to play against, the bad boy Pistons and the Celtics. But honestly, this is what we got, so this is what we're doing. And I think that's the energy. I honestly think that's the energy of most of these athletes in the NBA right now. And I just feel for them. I just know that this is going to fade. The Adam Silver era is going to do what it does, and then you're going to have an entirely different era that's much more intent on competitiveness, just like the 80s, just like the 70s, just like the 60s, just like the 90s. They're going to want for real they're going to come back to the integrity of the game. I see that coming. They're going to probably want to revisit some of them old rules too. Since we have such a negative taste in our mouth about what we're seeing out there, I think we're going to see end checking coming back. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. I feel it. Because at the end of the day, in order to compete against those guys, as I've said in the last video, that's what needs to happen. Re-implement some of them old rules, get some of this synchronized, dancing out of here where guys can lay down and get a foul call. Get that out of the game. It ain't going to age well, I'm telling you. I know what I'm talking about. The grandkids, the great-grandkids, they're going to look at that stuff and be like, yeah, so about that era, what about the 80s? What was they doing? What happened in the 2030s? What was they on? How did Wembanyama do after that? Because they ain't going to want to see nothing of it. Oh, they ain't going to want to see it. I'm telling you. This is the era they're going to throw that out. And that's going to be the one. So I'm telling y'all that we got to, if y'all want to reverse that, y'all better make sure y'all come back with a more quality product that ain't inflated and doesn't have some of his goofiness to it. And as far as I can tell, they're just adding more goofiness. That's in the mindset of everybody that's doing this NBA thing. They're like, let's impact it more so. How can we make it more about the perimeter? How can we make it more about the image rather than the art? So it is what it is, man. Hopefully I can influence that somehow. Hopefully somebody will get my image here and then see me saying this and be like, yo, the temperature's changing out there. Maybe we should get back to authenticity sooner. Which is what I'm ultimately hoping will happen, because I literally loathe the quality that I'm seeing out there, and I don't think I'm alone. So that's what I gotta say, man. So it's honestly what I gotta say. People gotta stop lying about what needs to be done, and if they don't have the gall to do it, allow people who can do it to come in respectfully and give the fans what we deserve. It's because we don't care about this era as much as we care about the overall respect of our teams and whatever it is that we're rooting for, players, whatever. You know what I mean? That's the truth. Because this era is going to end. It's just like any other era of any other regime of any other walk of life. When these guys don't get it right, they go out and you still have the shield or whatever it is. You still have the logo. You still got the NBA. So that's what I want to see happen. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of all of it. Bring the NBA back to what it needs to be. Real competitive basketball, man. If it has to be more physical, let it be more physical. We saw a good physical game against the Warriors and Memphis Grizzlies on Christmas Day. Wasn't bad. I don't know why they allowed that game to be physical and most other games not. They pick and choose. I don't really love that. But that physicality was good. You know what I mean? I know it's probably not healthy, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Some of the stuff that we've implemented, I like making sure people don't walk underneath three-point shooters. Some stuff is necessary. But some of the traveling call, we need to revamp traveling entirely. All these step backs and stuff, I hate step backs. There's nothing worse. Creating space, picking up your dribble, and then be able to move backwards. Are you kidding me? There's nothing more cheating in the game than that right now. If Michael Jordan could have did that, he would have averaged 70. Are you kidding me? Step backs? I don't know. How the hell y'all call that a travel? And then some of the stuff that you are calling a travel is a travel. When a guy doesn't even move his pivot foot, all of a sudden it's a travel. Get the hell out of here. But a guy can take 3 steps behind the three-point arc from the free throw line. Get out of here, man. That's what I'm talking about. And then we want to say, he's better than him. How? How? They would have called travel on homie if he would have did that. All the points that your homeboy got, Clyde Drexler wouldn't have even, he would have been sitting on the bench because those would have been turnovers. I'm just being real, man. So, it is what it is. I'm getting off my soapbox. That's been the theme all day. If you see my earlier video, that's kind of what I've been talking about. I just don't like where we're at. It's kind of been leaning on this for about 10 years, though. It's not really new, but it's just reached this a space where it's just like, all right, man. All right. Are they even playing ball anymore? That's where I'm at with it. So that's how I'm speaking. I'll try to break it down as best as I can, but that's really how I'm looking at it. I just don't know where the integrity of the game is at this point. But I know it ain't in the league. I know that. BDL 44. I thank y'all for watching.